want us to listen in on the panel discussion today. And I'll be handing over to Oluwayomi, where the panel moderator. But before I hand over to, I'll be reading our bio and the panelist bio. So Oluwayomi, where is a thriving lady from Ilesha, Osun State, Nigeria. She's passionate about knowing and loving God more. Her scientific training and dedication to excellence has afforded her the position of Senior Scientific Officer at the National Space Research and Development Agency. While waiting for the miracle of biblical marriage, she's living life in God's fullness, and she's delighted to show others how to achieve this. Her hobbies include reading, writing, playing chess, adventure, singing, and writing songs. I want to drop smileys to invite welcome Oluwayomi in the chat box. Please move to the next slide. Okay, and the panelist, we have another panelist on the list, which is Faith Unua Bona. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that well. She's a lecturer and a scientist at Ambrose Ali University, Puma. She holds a bachelor's degree in medical laboratory science and a master's in molecular biology and genomics, which have equipped her with a strong foundation and expertise in these fields. She absolutely adores research and training, and this has greatly empowered her to mentor several individuals, both in church and in school. Currently, she runs an amazing teen group for incredible young females, and our goal is to raise amazing teenagers who are confident in themselves and have a clear direction in setting life goals. Please kindly welcome me, Faye. Okay, so the next person we have on the list is Dr. Fisayo Awotunde. He started his career as a medical officer over about 16 years ago, and has since then grown in the career. He had his medical school and residency at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He loves God, people development, and family. He's currently an obstetrics and gynecology consultant. He's happily married and blessed with 2 kids. Kindly drop leaf flowers for Dr. Fisayo in the chat box. And the last person on the panel list is Ebrufio Obigba. He's a graduate of computer science from Delta State Polytechnic, Ozoro. He is a software engineer with keen interest in the back end of things. He's a Christian and a lover of God. He enjoys seeing individuals grow in all aspects of their lives, especially those who are eager to learn, discover clarity, and purpose early in life. He is a member of several organizations that have purpose at their core, one of which is Striving While Waiting. He enjoys problem solving, reading good literature. The Bible is his favorite, and listening to sound sermons and Christian music. And you welcome with me, Ebrufio Bigba. So I hand over to Oluwayomi as she takes over now. Welcome.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's a great delight to be here once again, having had a very beautiful time last year. It's another time to enjoy another beautiful session. Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Edith, for that first session. Thank you, Efusa, for anchoring that. And I would say Mrs. Edith's testimony has really set a good pedestal for what we would further discuss this afternoon, because checking through my line of questions, it's as if she has dealt with almost everything we would want to talk about. But then, for the purpose of the purpose, we will still go ahead and do what we have to do. In these days, we hear about the Gen Z, we hear about the Alpha, we hear about the millennial generations. We have so many stories to tell about what love is and our concept of love. If somebody does me this way, this is how I will react. We have the social media family. We have the real families. We have the people we interact with on a daily basis, and we have the people we watch at a distance. We also have our ideology of things. This is how we perceive things to be. This is how we expect things to go. in our inner hearts, whether we discuss it with people or not, we always have a way of thinking we know how to navigate things. All right, in this present age, where men and women are crazy about several things and interested in several things, we have different perceptions of how we view love, how we think it should be practiced, um, as a single, as married, as someone who is gainfully employed, as someone that is not employed, as students, and in several aspects or stages of life. And to some, we say they find love. To some, we say they don't. And those that find, how are they enjoying it? How are they practicing it? Or let me say, how are they living it? Mind you, I'm picking my words by saying, okay, finding love. Uh, do we even find it? Is it lost? Is it hidden somewhere? Are we meant to find love? Do we have love existing already? Are we the love we are finding? Have we found it? What is love? Let's not talk too much because we have wonderful panelists here that are set to answer whatever dimension of questions we have, wherever angle we are bringing it from. So I welcome to the table a Bruce, I'll call him, because calling a Bufiho over time I don't want to break my teeth. So I'll welcome the Brewski, I'll welcome Dr. Awotunde, and I'll welcome Faith as we go on this journey together. Welcome, panelists. All right, I will first of all put in the question, we have seen the flyer we have. We are talking about we are preserved. Thanks to God for that. And talking about what we have on ground, we are looking at love in the context of we said, sorry, let me bring it from this angle. All right, not to beat about the bush too much. What would be your definition of love? I throw it open to the three of you. Short answers, please. What is love? Should I call on who will go first?
Good evening, everyone. Before I even say anything, I just need to say thank you to Edith. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't think she should be included in the panel. Like, she should be included in the panel because, anyway, thank you so much. God has blessed you greatly. Thank you for sharing your story. What is love, right? So for me,
Yes.
a very short one. Love is God. According to 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, love is God. He is the originator of love. He is love himself. Okay. So I really don't know how best, okay, except want to just bring it out of that line, but for a very short start, love, God is love. And if you look at the Bible, Galatians chapter 5, come down to verse 23 or so, you see that the fruit of the Spirit is love. Then give you the different things that expresses love: joy, patience, peace, and the line goes like that. So just for a start, God is love. The other panelists can throw more light.
Faith, please. You're muted, please.
Yeah. Sorry, my voice is a bit low. hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Mr. Obigba. Am I correct? Yeah.
Any name, any way you pronounce the name is correct.
Love is God. I know, but if a child should ask you, Daddy, what's the definition of love? What is love? You see, we should see love not from, I want to come out of the scripture now. He has gone to the aspect of scripture. I don't want to take the part of the scripture. Love is a positive feeling or emotion you have towards a person or something. And that can be a range of emotion depending on what you call it. The emotions are defined. I can say I have love for spaghetti. It's an emotion, it's a feeling, right? I have love for Indomie. It's an emotion. So it's a range of emotion, feeling, deep feeling you have towards something positive, not actually negative. And so if we bring that to the scripture, we also see that God, being our example, showed us love by drawing us to himself, calling us his own. And so being God's own, and everything about God makes us God. And so that is love, not because we deserve it, but because he has good emotions, intentions for us. And so he loved us first. Deep emotional feelings he had for us. Anything good you can think about is what God desires for us. And that is love. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Awotunde, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And permit me to stand on existing protocol. Well, the first and second speaker have spoken quite well. And just to corroborate what they've said so far, I would want to define love as a deep feeling of affection for a particular object or being. Like the second speaker said, it might not be a human being that you have love for, it might be an inanimate object. Some people love their cars and they do everything to keep the car in shape. They spend their last penny to keep it in shape. Some people love their pets and they take very good care of the pets. So if it's human being that one loves, that means that that person, one has deep affection for that person. So you are interested in the person, not just the physical aspect, but the spiritual, the emotional, the financial, and developmental aspect of that person is of your utmost interest. So that means that you actually in love with that person. And that's my own definition of love. And that's the way I would like to approach it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. While we further go into this, if you have any questions, be noting it, and so that by the time we are set for the question and answers, you will just be able to spell it out as quickly as possible. Like a rejoinder to that question you first answered, I would say, does true love still exist? I will be asking Faith that. Does true love still exist?
I would say yes, true love exists.
All right. Just that true love still exists. What are your reasons? What are your convictions?
Well, my conviction is that where you place yourself determines where you find true love. Your definition of true love matters a lot. What do you mean by true love? That's the first question, because some of us think that true love is when the man takes me out, when he buys me so many things, and when he pampers me and all the likes. That's what true love is. Was that actually true love?
So you're saying they don't really bother on the natural, I mean, let's say on the physical things or physical expression, if I got you correctly. Are you with me? Can you hear me? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. I said, so you are trying to say they are not, it goes beyond the physical, should I say?
Yeah. Is that question for me? Because I missed out at
Yes.
the point.
Yeah, I was saying, okay, you said it's not about this person bought this for me and like I said, so you are in essence saying it goes beyond the physical expressions.
It goes beyond it. It goes beyond the physical. And true love, it's not actually from one person. It comes from both ends. So when you want to define true love, then you have to let me know what you mean by what true love is. Find true love in maybe right there in your head to say, okay, this is what true love is. But I would say that true love exists. And true love really, really exists. Where you find yourself or where you have placed yourself will determine where you will find true love. You cannot be a courtesan and say you're looking for true love. I don't know if I'm making any sense. You cannot be in the midst of unbelievers and you say you're looking for true love. You cannot be in the midst of, let me say, deceptive people, or you are part of them, and you say you're looking for true love. So wherever you place yourself, it's two things I've said. Definition of true love. What do you understand by the word true love? Or what do you call true love? That's one. Then two, actually true love exists, but where you have placed yourself will actually determine if you will find true love. So from my own perspective, I don't want to say too much so that we can have a lot, so that we can discuss. From my own perspective, true love truly exists.
I'm trying to build a point. All right, Bruce. We hear people talk about, oh, I fell in love with so person. I'm in love. What is your understanding, or what would you say? What are your thoughts about falling in love, walking in love, and growing in love?
Okay, thank you. Yes, falling in love. We say people fall in love. Yeah, people definitely fall in love, and that is how we also see people fall out of love. Based on the background that we've been building, first speaker, faith, how to, and what they've been saying. And she said something, for you, like, because you cannot say, okay, love and all of those. She said something like, what is your definition of it? Then where are you expecting it from? Okay. And she gave a very good example. A courtist cannot say, yes, a courtist, we say he has true love. Sorry, everybody is a little bit tightened up. Let's listen up a little. A courtist will say, yes, a courtist have a definition of true love. And if you look very well, what can be the possible definition of a true love for a courtist? When I call you, oh boy, show up. When I call you, in fact, don't take 5 minutes, come to my location. It means that the courtist will be like, this is my guy. This guy, I can do anything for him, because anytime I call him, he shows up and all of those. And those are the definition. But when we want to be serious and probably go with the originator of love, first of all, this true love, what is it? we can easily say love is patient, love is kind, love, this is according to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 now. Love does not envy, love does not boast, love does not proud, love is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Now, looking at this definition, can you fall into it? With this definition alone, I'm not sure you can say, oh yeah, I'm not sure you can fall into love. No. You will decide now that, and if we even go into the Bible standard, you know, this our society, yes, this is a open, our society has done so many things and we like to fall into reality and all of this, but the truth of the matter is this, the originator of something knows it. I don't know how to put it. You cannot know a thing more than the originator of it. Okay, you can't know a thing more than the originator of it. And this falling in love and falling out of love is just, the word love have honestly been misused because it's just you having feelings and feelings like that. We cannot say it's love because even when in the context we are talking about, I believe the context we are talking about is with relation to marriage. Am I correct? Or we are talking outside marriage now. The context, is it with marriage?
Okay. Yeah, in this context, yes, we're talking about marriage. We're talking
marriage. So if we are talking about marriage, if we are to follow scriptures, we'll talk about scriptures out of scriptures. The Bible only give an instruction: love your wife, love your husband, like that. So it means that even when you're talking about this love thing like this love is even inside of marriage. And that is where we miss it. Many people miss it and you say, I've fallen in love. Then the next week you come back, the person blow your eye or raise the hand against you and you'll be like, I don't love him anymore. And that is how we have so many X and X's unnecessarily up and down and all of those. So you don't honestly fall in love. Then you said walk in love, grow in love. Yes. All of those are possible, right? Because it's a decision you make. It's a decision that is being made that this person, this is it. So when you look at the attributes again, long suffering, it keeps no wrong, it's not boastful, it doesn't think about self. Edith said something. She said, even if the guy is not really boxed up, the reaction to things matters a lot. And she gave an example of your car. That's a very simple example, but you saw how it's going to help in making the decision. Because somebody that really cares about you will put in a little bit of effort. Nobody wants to be stressed. But when you are talking about this love, then this is you signing up for stress. This is you signing up for work, more work to be added to your record. Okay? So you don't fall in love. You probably decide to love in the context of marriage, right? And you grow in it.
All right.
If you want further breaking down, you can ask the questions so that I don't just be the only one keep talking, so that everybody can.
Let's save that for later. Thank you very much for that intelligent response. We'll move to Dr. Oloruntobi. So, okay, let me say, yes, we've talked about what love is. It's a decision. You go, most times, yes, you go, not go ahead of yourself, but you go out of your way to express this love. But then, in a marriage context, is love really enough? Talking about love alone, is it enough to sustain a relationship, a marital relationship? You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I would like to start from where the previous speaker stopped, that what is actually true love. So I want to cite an example of true love from the Bible. You know, the Bible says that for God so loved the world that he gave. So when you truly love someone, when you truly love something, you must give something. It's not free. It's a sign of commitment. You must show. Love is not a feeling. It's an action. You must demonstrate it. If you love somebody, if you love something, you must show it. God loved the world. He gave his only begotten son. That thing that you love, that person that you love, you must give something to sustain it. And he's still using that same Bible verse, that John 3:16, that says he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him should not perish. Loving that person must not lead to the destruction of that person. I cannot say I love you and I'm tilting you towards things that are detrimental to your future, to your career goals, to your health. That's not love. So, and then it should be everlasting. So if it's genuine love, it will last, except it is not. Okay, so go back to the question that you asked me now. Is love enough to sustain a relationship or marriage? One needs more than love to sustain relationships. In the sense that, like as I've mentioned now, you must show, you must be able to come out and demonstrate. You must be able to come out and expend something to sustain that love that you say you have for the person. So it's not just confession of mouth that I love you, fine, that's good. But you must demonstrate it.
All right.
I might be following.
Yes. It's more than just saying, yes, you have love. You must demonstrate it. You must express it.
So aside love, you need loyalty and you need honesty.
Okay.
So
those are
and
like
you must be able to work together and sustain it.
All right. Thank you for that. And now back to Bruce. To what extent can one prove or show the act of love to a partner? Or let me say, would you do anything for the sake of love?
Will you do anything?
What is your
sake?
boundary? What is your extent? What is your limit in expressing to you, to someone that you love him or her?
There's a boundary.
Her now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Edith. I will almost call your name in every of my response because
like I said, you
did so much. You did so much justice to this already.
Yeah.
Now, what is the extent and the boundary to love, to our understanding and everything? We have already, thank God for this meeting. Thank God for the belief of everyone here. We've already identified that this love thing we are talking about, the originator is God. And we have a roadmap we are following. So, yes, there's a boundary. And the boundary is, and I will quote from, sorry, I will use some of our experience. I will not love you to the point where I will disobey God. It will just kill both of us and kill all of us. I won't love you to the point that it goes contrary to the rules and the standards that we both believed before even entering the relationship. Because right now, I'm working based on I'm responding based on the foundations, the different foundations that have been set, even from the time Edith keep talking, based on all the responses we've gotten now. I won't love you to the point where I will go against that which is written, against the belief both of us agree. Because right now, I believe both of us already agree that yes, this is what we stand on, coming into agreement in this thing. Is it Amos now said, can two work together except they agree? So we agreed on something. We decided that we are going to love based on this standard: God, Jesus, and that which is spoken. So that is also the boundary. Anything outside that, that means it calls for an alarm. You're after my life. You're after your own life too. So, but as long as it's within that which is written, and as long as it's within that instructions given, God said yes, and we follow. He said no, and we are doing yes. I'm not sure we want to follow you in that. So that is a big boundary. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I could pick up something from there saying, okay, in my own words, I put it as the boundary of my love for you is my love for God. If it's outside the context of God, then it's a no-no. Thank you. Now, delving further into it, of course, I know the answer, but it's a rhetoric. All right, let me still save that. Okay, yeah, let me just go ahead with it. Should I go ahead to marry someone I don't love with the expectation of going into love with him or her in marriage? It's
okay.
open to.
I will just ask a follow-up question on that. You go ahead with someone you don't love, right? Again, come again with the question, sorry.
Yeah, should I go ahead to marry someone I don't love with the expectation that, okay, maybe when we get married and maybe it's because we have not started living
So my
together.
question I will
God
ask
is love.
to answer
God wants us
that, I
to
would just
love.
like to ask a question, sorry. What
Okay.
is pushing you to the going ahead? What are you going ahead based on?
You know, we have had all sorts. We have had all sorts. Some school of thought will be like, no, marriage is not just the physical. What if you are just allowing the flesh to dictate to you? Like maybe you are just being sentimental, like you don't love him. As time goes on, when you grow, you can grow together to love each other. I believe one or two people have had that before.
But okay.
And they'll be like, no, love is not just the feeling. But I would pick something from what Mrs. Edith said earlier. She was like, there should be a chemistry. You are not seeing the chemistry. Some people could still be cajoled into going ahead thinking maybe the chemistry will come. So is it advisable?
To me,
so like I said, it's like a rhetoric question. The answer is out there in the open.
So I will just do a quick one. I believe Tunde is married, so he can do more justice. But then I'll just do a quick one. And it's this. For you already going, if you can listen to the last things Edith said, right? Yeah. Edith, sorry. But listening to her, going ahead with someone, with the love we are talking about now, is this chemistry and whatever. Going ahead with all of those, without that, is already you compromising at your end. Mm-hmm. So is this person worth you compromising your stand? Edith said, run. No. She said you should run. Is it worth compromising your standard? Is this person worth depriving that chemistry, that agreement can two work together? So this is you partially trying to work together with this person, knowing that you have one broken leg that you need to fix, or something dragging you. You are saying you want to do because probably. So if I should understand very well, this question, not that the question, but that decision is one way or the other backed up with pressure, backed up with some things behind. I will stop there. Our married boss can just throw one light.
Well, thanks so much. What I want to say is that there's no one question, one answer to all the questions. And it's not a straight-jacketed thing. What works for A may not work for B. It depends on you. And it depends on who you are and what you want as a person. It depends on, like the last speaker said, who is leading you into that marriage with that person. If it's God that's saying, look beyond the beauty of that sister, or look beyond the face of that brother and marry him or her, you can go ahead. If it's God, if you are sure it's God that's talking to you, you can go ahead. But if it's not God, if it's somebody that's advising you because of your age, because of so many other physical factors, you have to really calm down for a while and be sure that you're really ready for it. Because once you go in, whatever you meet there, you have to contend with it. Mm. So it's not because it doesn't work for A, it may work for B. I don't know if you get my question. So you cannot say because, but personally, what I would advise is, except it's God that's asking you to go ahead, except it's God that's saying, go ahead with this person. Develop a level of likeness. It may not be a deep love per se, but develop a level of likeness for that person before you actually go ahead. Because you're not marrying that person in the spirit. It's the person that when you wake up in the morning, that's the first person that you see. Before you sleep at night, that's the other person you will see. So there has to be a level of likeness with that person. If not deep love, that it must be something that you see that you like in that person. And as human beings, there will be a time when that person will do things that you don't like. So that thing that you see sometimes will encourage you to move on. Okay, I smile, maybe I like her smile, maybe I like her dentition, maybe, something which shall boost your morale when things are really not working the way you expect. Will sustain you for that moment, something physical now. But if you're a very spiritual person, of course, the spirit will always tell you to go ahead. He will always encourage you to go ahead. But I would suggest that have a level of likeness, because it's easier for you to be discouraged if that platform is not established before you go ahead. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. All right, going further, what do you perceive as red? Okay, yes, I know we have had it, but for the purpose of emphasis, and it's not too much to reiterate it, what do you perceive as red flags in relationships? I put it here like, okay, like Mrs. Edith already said, it's talking about a husband. Okay, some people believe if a man is still staying with the parents at a particular age, it could be a red flag. Some people believe if the person responds in such a way, like she also mentioned the issue of his reaction towards a chocolate bar. Can we mention one or two other red flags that we could see as red flags in entering into a marital relationship? Red flags.
Sorry. I believe there would be so many red flags, or there are so many red flags, right? So I don't know if you may want to
basic saying like character.
Rephrase the question in a way that we look at probably what are the standards, or what should we look out for even for making this decision. I think it will help us better that starts, because there are so many red flags. And I don't think red flag is something that we can generalize, but I think when we go the other way around, we can give key standard points that even Edith has mentioned some, that once you look at this thing and those red flags, one way or the other, fall as contrary to these things that will be mentioned. So I don't know, I'm just a suggestion.
Yeah. Just like, okay, like the basic things. Okay, I would, let me coin it in this way. What should be like criteria for marital choice? What should be like a criteria, the non-negotiable things? Such that if they are not present, should be like, oh, buzzing like an alarm for one to like, no, this cannot be, this cannot happen, and the likes like that. Did you get the question in that context now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, should I go first?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
For me, uh, thanks to Edith, she mentioned some uh, standards you should actually look at. And I believe almost everything, thank God we have other people here, stand to be corrected, falls within these things. So I will go, okay, number one, the person we need to look at maturities and what are the level of maturities we're looking at. So we need to look out for spiritual intelligence. We need to look out for emotional intelligence. We need to look out for financial intelligence. Then we can also say we're looking out for maturity of the mind. And I saw that in Edith. So let me just come from that way. If you are talking about maturity of the mind, can this person make a decision and stand by it and also stand by the consequences of the decision? One thing I was grateful about was when you hear Edith talk, when she was talking, she told you what she did, her decision, and she told you how she stood by the consequences. She not run. She was like, this is as a result of the decision I made. Today, what do we have? We have so many people, even mature people out there. They will make choices, and the moment it flops or goes south, the first thing they do is how to shift blame, hang it on somebody, try to start creating defensive walls for a decision you made by yourself. Can this person make decisions and honestly stand by the consequences of such decisions, be it bad or good? I'm just trying to give a high level so that other panelists can talk. Then when we come down to finances, okay, when we say financial intelligence, did this person have the ability to make money? Do this person have the ability to manage money? Do this person have the ability to multiply money? If you don't have financial intelligence, then you have nothing to do with respect to relationship or marriage. You just want to just carry someone else's child and just put the person in bondage. Do your partner have this level of intelligence? Then when you even come up a little bit, I said what I say again, emotional intelligence. My God. The emotional intelligence to me kind of like even there's this saying that love is blind, right? Marriage is going to open your eyes. This is my partner. Oh, I love her. I loved her. She has all the good body and all of those. Now, as a result of probably getting pregnant and giving birth, the chemistry of her body changed. If you are not emotional, you hear when Edith was talking, even the husband as at then did not make any comment to her body. But you see that she herself made a comment that, is it because I'm now fat as a result of giving birth? So you can see how deep this thing has hitting into us. So if your partner is not emotional intelligent, look at now a full-grown man raising the voice on the kid's sister just because of a chocolate bar. It's beyond the chocolate bar. It means that this guy, his emotions are everywhere. Now, this is his younger sister, the same father, the same mother. What will happen to somebody that is not even related? By the time we are even talking now, the person's head is off or the eyes are swollen already because probably he must have thrown a punch or something. Then this is the person you want to go and stay with in the same house. Okay, congratulations. How intelligent is this person emotionally? It boils down to the giving part, to being sensitive to this person's how will I put it, being sensitive to this person's situation. And something came up in the office that is very annoying. And it's something you cannot explain at this particular point in time. Why transfer aggression when you can simply say, it's not something I want to talk about now. We can talk about this later. But no, you just come to the house. You cannot transfer aggression on your boss, and the next person is your spouse. As the person, wake home, you just give to the person. Aggression, emotional intelligence. Have you been able to manage yourself? Have you been able to manage yourself emotionally? Then now start talking about managing someone's emotion. Then spiritual intelligence. Oh my God. Oh my God. God will help us in times like this. God will help us in times like this. As a matter of fact, we try to, I'm just going to be quick on this. We try to put in reality, and be like, it's all about us, reality, and we forget about spirituals. But I don't know, but the spiritual controls the physical. The spiritual controls the physical. Believe me, if Edith does not have a level of spirituality, she wouldn't even be able to go through what she went through. She would have probably killed herself, became a whore or something, just to bypass whatever is happening. Okay, the husband doesn't do this to me. Okay, the husband does not attend to me in this light. Nothing, what's the problem? I can get it outside there. And she will start offending God, start going all out, and probably end up with STDs or any other thing, or probably not even get another child out of, and we'll start talking about DNA. Then the man will now have a standpoint where he can even blow her eyes and injure her and all of those. Spirituality matters a lot. You can see that even in that level of deep mess that she was in, God was still favoring her to the point that she was even getting her job done, which is honestly a miracle.
Yeah.
So we cannot downplay spirituality. We cannot just, sorry, I'm talking too much. Please, let me just mute at this point.
You actually didn't talk too much because you were really hitting it in the end. That was what made me ask her how she was able to manage her relationship with God. Because looking at her, if not that she told us what happened. If I saw her outside, she was looking all fresh, beautiful, and calm, and very collected. So I would say it's her spirituality, our relationship with God that kept her mind and soul and body together, that made it possible for her to sail all along. Thank you for that. Narrowing it now down. You say what? You want to add something?
Yeah, can I say something?
Yes, please.
I think sometimes when we say these things, thank God for Sister Edith, who discarded her story to tell us. We have a lot of stories like this. I will just say one, then I want to tell you how red flags could be identified. I was in a relationship while in school, just about to leave school then. And this guy had an accommodation outside. So I go visit, then return, not sleeping over. Then there was this particular evening, and he was seeing me off, and somebody called him, and the person was asking where he is. He did not say exactly where he was. He lied about where he was. And so when he was through with the conversation, I said, why did you not tell him exactly where? Or just avoid the question if possible? And he said, it's not important. And he doesn't want to see him. And then he said, it doesn't mean you should lie. Then immediately, something dropped in my spirit. In fact, God dropped it in my spirit, that this he will do to you too. And I was wondering, how? So I said, this cannot be. So I didn't take it so serious. It was something that so we were like that till I was out of school. He's a doctor. And so I was having my internship. He went out and all the likes. So when there was a day We have had conversation. He has told me his age. He has told me his birth month. We have celebrated birthdays, like 3 birthdays together and all the likes. And there was this day, one of his friends came, and it was his birthday. And we were just having fun in the sitting room there. And he came, and the person came in and was like, what's going on? And there was a way he spoke the Yoruba, and he said, today's his birthday. So that one laughed. And I think he understood and joined in the celebration. So something happened, he was away, and he needed some of his documents to be submitted. So I've never taken time to look out for his document. I don't care. It doesn't. I feel that as Christians, what you have told me is true. So I don't look for all those things. But when he said he needed to get those documents submitted the next day, so he was sending his cousin to me to help him sort out the documents. And I said, okay. Lo and behold, when we got to where the year was wrong, the day of birth was wrong, was not correct with what he told me, and so many information. I was crazy. Like, why do you do this? Why? And that word came. I said, he will do same to you. I was surprised. And I asked him, and I called him immediately after I've given the documents to the cousin. And I said, what am I saying? Why did you tell me this? He said he did ask me to go and start scrutinizing his document. Was it not that he said he just told me to go and get this document and give. Why am I asking so much questions? And I said, really? Is that all the explanation you have to give me? He said, if I'm not satisfied, I should wait for him to come. That was a red flag. That was a red flag. That relationship, even if it was 3 years, but we will still have lies in it. A lot that we're going to manage if we continue. I was asking you these questions. You were not saying, oh, sorry, you are angry at me. And the question is, why? Why are you angry? So there are a lot. I can give examples and I can keep naming. Sometimes our red flags are not the same. Let's be very careful. Some persons can come up with this and say, the person said, oh, I'm sorry. And no, this was why I said it. But I think the Holy Spirit dropped it in me. This is how this is exactly what he will do to you. He didn't say go out of the relationship. He didn't say be careful. He said, this is exactly what he will do to you. So it's you now to ask, God, what do you want me to do now? Or that was a red flag. So we should be able to understand with the people we are working with. I would have said a lot because we don't have the time. I would have loved to say a lot of things so that we should understand. We should not just be emotional about love, but we should be alert in the spirit. You should be very, very alert. I'm not saying be too careful, but I say just be alert, because sometimes God speaks to us, and what he says to one, he may not be saying to the other person. And what he's saying to you because you will understand better. You are the one in the relationship. If you're not careful. And I've had the one, he spoke to me directly, and I went ahead like he did, and it crashed like you don't want to hear it. And so we must be careful. Little things we feel that, no, it must not, this is not God, this is just my thinking. But you must be careful to really sit back and examine it and let God really speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So please permit to make a little contribution. Just a little.
All right.
All right. I think they've spoken quite well. Yeah. And I agree with them. So I just want to add this, that I believe this is a company of believers. Okay, if that is true, let us believe that red flags come in different shades. It may not be that bright red, but you need to be discerning to pick it. That's number one. Number two, for you not to fall victim, you need the Spirit of God to be active in you. Sometimes your physical intelligence may not pick it because the other person may be an expert at deception. So, but the Spirit of God needs to be active in us. If he is, then it will identify those things that we even overlook. The third point is that you should pray for the grace to always follow the leading of that Spirit of God. Because it's not easy. Spirit of God will do his own. It will tell you this is wrong. It will tell you, look at this. It will tell you, pay attention to this. But sometimes it doesn't mean anything. It happens. Yeah, where do I start from? Just want to go ahead, but it will still end the same way. So that grace to listen to the Spirit of God when it talks, when it ministers to us, is very important. Then lastly, in this section, I want us to try to develop a way of communicating with God. There must be a way in which God talks to you as a believer. You don't need to, it's not every time that you run to your pastor or your prophet before God ministers something. So maybe through dream. There has to be a way in which God personally communicates with us. If that is so, then you can guide and direct. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, it came to my spirit when it's one of my experience. Thank you, Faith and Awotu today. What they said is perfect, and I will give you an experience. Me that you're seeing talking like this. There was one that God actually saved me from, right? You can see me talking like this and you'll be like, this guy is knowledgeable and all of those. Okay. With all the knowledge, I don't know if it was, okay, I can say probably a bit of pressure entered me and there was somebody I got connected with and all of those. And I can clearly see that some of my standards were not met. But you know what I was doing? I was giving excuse for the person. As in, I was honestly giving excuse for the person. So I would just do a quick one. I was actually trying to say, okay, I can put up with this, I will change this, I will do this and like that. It took God to save me, and this boils down to what the last speaker just said. How God saved me, which is you need to try, no matter how, just try and communicate your situation to God. I know I prayed about it. Even if in my prayer, honestly, I was praying that God make this work, but I was also still praying that God, please, if it's not this person, with all the things I've seen, I was still praying that if it's not this person, please help me and all of those. And it took God, two of my friends that don't know each other, two people, they don't know each other. They had similar dream about this person 2 a.m. on a certain day. That was what it took for God to pull me out. And I'm so grateful that God did, because believe me, by now, I don't know what I would have been facing. Maybe I would have been facing another throne, because I don't even know what I would have been facing. Honestly, I cannot even put a picture to what I would have been facing. But for two people that don't know, these two people, they don't know each other. They had similar dream, same time on a particular day. That was how God saved me. So it was that just, because it was that I just got to bed. You are seeing this danger, you want to enter by yourself. That was how I left it. It may not be like that for you, but God comes through for his children every single time. Just have the heart of depending on him, communicating with him. No matter how far you've gone, just try and relate with him. He will always look for a way to get across to you.
Thank you very much. I would just like to emphasize that God loves us, but we might not all be so lucky. So the best is to understand, and from the onset or wherever we are at this point in time, build a relationship with God and understand how he talks to us, so that we can circumvent any trouble that might want to come along the path. May God help us all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, now, why would you want to get married? Why should one want to get married? I want to push that question to Efosa. Efosa, are you still online? Can you still hear us? Why would you want to get married?
Off the top of my head, I would say the Bible says one would chase 1,000 and two would chase tens of thousands. Off the top of my head, that would be my first response. Then there's also the point of companionship. When the Bible says that at creation, God looked at Adam and he said, it's not good for man to be alone. I don't think that it solely means marriage, but it also means marriage. God did not create us to be isolated from each other. And there is something about the way he created the man and the way he created the woman. They complement each other. And so there's this beauty of companionship that comes when you find the partner God has given you, or when you end up with the partner God has given you. I have also seen good marriages, as much as we've heard stories of bad things happening and all of that. I've also seen good marriages where God brought two people together and there's so much beauty. Yes, they're putting in the work, but there's so much beauty in their companionship. So why should we get married? It's worth it. It's worth it. I'll go back to my first response. One would chase 1,000, two would chase tens of thousands. There are so many things that we want to do. You can't do it yourself. No matter how smart you are, no matter how much emotional intelligence you have and all of that, a partner complements and helps you achieve so much more that you will achieve on your own, ordinarily. So
in other words, thank you very much for that. So in other words, there should be that 10,000 thing on ground that you want to chase before you start looking for someone to chase it with you.
Okay. Sorry. If you remember when my bio was read out, I'm quite ambitious and my mind is constantly working. I'm constantly thinking 10,000 that I'm chasing. So that's the point of view from which I'm answering. Hopefully, also have that desire to chase tens of thousands. I don't know. You might not.
Okay. I'm actually not saying that to make jest. I'm trying to build a point. You don't have anything to do. You are looking for somebody to support you. Please answer me how. Even when Moses was going to part the Red Sea, can you remind me the question God asked him?
What's that in your hand?
Thank you very much. And that would move me to the next questions. He says, I'm asking now, what determines one's readiness for marriage? What determines your readiness for marriage? Let me come from which angle? Which angle should I come from? What determines your readiness for marriage? Okay, Dr. Otunde, I will put you on that first. What determines when you were getting ready? When did you know that, okay, at this juncture, I'm set?
Well, what determines your readiness for marriage? I think varies across all that we've discussed so far. Number one, you have to be physically mature. Okay. For marriage. Marriage should not be for kids. It's not for teens. You are physically mature. You have to be emotionally mature. You have to build. Are you ready? Do you have your shock absorbers built and activated? Because in marriage, you don't know what you are going to meet when you get there. So are you ready to make it work? Financially, are you mature? Are you ready? Because now you have to look beyond the wedding. Now, if the woman gets pregnant and start producing kids, are you financially ready to take care of those children? Can you afford a good accommodation? Can you pay school fees? Do you know how much they sell Pampers now? How many cartons can you afford? Looking at your savings, your current savings, you check your bank account now. Do you think Somebody told me that a pack of Nan one now costs about 50K. Just a pack that a child will finish in a week. So if God bless you and you have triplets as your first pregnancy, are you ready? Do you think you are ready? Without having to go and start begging. So you have to, are you financially ready? Spiritually, are you ready as well? Because there will always be one or two issues, spiritual issues in marriage. Are you ready to take charge as the man or as the wife? Are you ready to support your husband? If your husband is chasing 1,000 and you're not together, you now have 10,000 to face. How much can you contribute actually? So you have to look at it. So those are the things that you have to look at. And this marriage that you're going into, anything that comes up, can you endure? Will you still stay in that marriage? Is it God that's leading you into the marriage? Those are the things that you have, there is a number of things that you have to look at. There are some people that go into marriage because they see fine kids around them. And they feel like, my ovaries, or when you post fine kids, you see their ovaries, or you shout their ovaries. Okay, now you are married. First year, no conception. Second year, no conception. Third year, no conception. What will happen? Are you ready to stay in that marriage? Okay, so you have to be, is your shock absorber well built to actually sustain a marriage? It's not just going into it, but can you sustain it? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And then how well can you take independent decisions? How well do your, somebody told me a story recently, a real life story. I know the lady, she's already planned a wedding. And in fact, they've, everything was set. Just for what caused issue was where should the wedding take place? That was what broke that relationship actually. It's broken as we speak. What happened? The lady's parents stay in, let me say, stay in Lagos as an example, but the man's parents stay in the East. So the guy's parents want, because they are both Igbos anyway. So the guy's parents want the lady's parents to come to the East, come and collect the bride price because they are from the East anyway. And those ones are saying no, because they reside in Lagos, they should come to Lagos and come and pay the bride price. And that's what caused the issue. They don't want to come from the East to come and pay in Lagos. The one from Lagos do not want to go and collect the bride price in the East. And so that relationship of about 5 years just got broken. Now, is the person you are getting married to as a woman, is that person ready to defend you? When did you start? If you start between his family and you, is he ready to defend you? He must be able to defend you, especially if you are doing intertribal. He must be able to defend you. If he doesn't, if you are going to marry somebody who is daddy's daughter or mommy's boy, are you ready to contend with somebody? Because if you don't, somebody will come and contend with you. Somebody called me from UK some time ago and discussed something with me that there's a lady in the UK whose parents have been there for years. They have their own buildings. And the lady got married to a guy. And the parents of the lady want them to be staying in their own compound. And the guy said no. Just a few weeks marriage, already issues are starting. So those are things I need to discuss. Now, when you are married, where are you staying? Even if the guy's parents have mansions, are you going to stay with his parents? Or is he going out to go and rent an apartment? You have to discuss that. Okay, if fortunately for you, or unfortunately for you, you are not staying in the same state, who is moving after the wedding? You must discuss it. Because like somebody mentioned the last time, that God said that it's not good for a man to be alone. It's going to be very, very, very funny if you are married and you are staying alone. You are married, you are in Abuja, your husband is in Ogun State. So how often do you see? I see some patients like that. Okay, your firstborn is 8 years. You are just getting pregnant. What's the reason? Husband doesn't usually come around except once in 3 months, once in 2 months. What happened? They are staying in the same Nigeria, but we just come once in 2 months and then we go back. So what happened in the 2 months? Nobody knows. So unfortunately, it will come in when she's not ovulating and then there's no conception. So you must discuss who is moving after this wedding. Somebody has to move. If somebody does not want to move, then delay it and work it out. You don't have to rush into it. So, and then but the most important thing is God leading you guys into it. If God says, go ahead. If God says, wait, wait. If God says go ahead, then you can go ahead. If you go ahead when God says wait, you go and restart. No matter how far you go, you will still drop it at the point in time you go and restart. You go and restart. So thanks so much. I don't want to turn this into a sermon.
It's already a sermon and it's already entering places it's supposed to enter. Thank you so much for that godly, intelligent response. I can see some questions in the chat, but we'll come back. I am noting who will answer what. And I would encourage us, if we still have questions, to drop them individually too, so that we can take them immediately we end the oral session. We've talked about what determines one's readiness for marriage. Now, I jokingly said something, or let me say jocularly said something earlier when Efosa answered that one will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000. That then it means there must be the 10,000 on ground that one wants to chase before one must already be chasing 1,000 before you now believe God for the multiplication or an exponential whatever of 10,000 that you are expecting someone to come and chase with you. Now, what comes first? Marriage or purpose? I want to answer 2 or 3 questions in one. So we'll answer and we know we are done. What comes first? Marriage or purpose? And what preoccupies you while you are waiting for the miracle of marriage? We are thriving, we are trying to thrive while we are waiting. Like we know, this is a group of mature singles waiting on God, waiting for God for the miracle of godly marriage. We believe in the tenets of biblical marriage, not because we don't believe. We are not single because we don't believe. We are not single because we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We are trying to be occupied while waiting for our God's miracles. So, which one should come first? Like I said, I know the question might be rhetoric, but then for the purpose of emphasis, we are asking so that we can remind ourselves if we have forgotten, and to reiterate it if we are missing one part or the other. What comes first, marriage or purpose? While we are waiting, what preoccupies us? How do we thrive while we are waiting? I go from Efosa to Bruce to Faith, then to Dr. Awotunde. Efosa, what comes first, marriage or purpose? What preoccupies you while you're waiting? How do you thrive while you're waiting?
Okay. Marriage comes first. I'm sorry, purpose comes first. Purpose comes first because, and that would answer your next question. How do you thrive while you're waiting? Whatever keeps you in a space where we can say, oh, this person is thriving, is purpose. And a lot of times we spiritualize purpose, like purpose must be some spiritual kind of calling or whatever. But to a very great extent, I believe even our jobs, our everyday jobs, can be your purpose. So what are you doing right now? That would determine who you decide to spend forever with. I don't know if I must have said it in some other session. One of the things that's made one of my engagements, I've been engaged twice, and the second time, what broke us up was purpose. Like Dr. Awotunde said, you talk about where you live and blah, 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 blah. So he moved abroad, and he wanted me to resign and join him abroad. Ordinarily, that would not be an issue for me because I'm a busybody. If I did not have my 9 to 5, even if it's provision shop, I shall know that I'll be selling something. I shall be in front of my house selling bread. I'm just a busybody like that. So I could have resigned and moved. But my question for him was, if I leave what I'm doing, what do you have to offer me? Which still emphasizes the fact that for me, purpose was in front of me. Yes, I want to do forever with you. Yes, I love you. Yes, I'm excited about you. But should I leave what I'm doing here? By the way, at that time, I had already spent 10 years on my job. So should I leave what I'm doing here? What's the alternative? What would I be doing when I come to join you? And the options I was given they weren't good enough. And one day he just answered, it's like, why does it matter what I'm coming to do? You're supposed to be my helpmate. So anything you meet here, you do. And well, it goes without saying, we understood each other afterwards and we are where we are right now. But yeah, as a child of God, and the more I get to know God, I understand that we were all created for a purpose. And when we get to heaven, the question before God will say, well done, my good and faithful servant, he would be congratulating you based off of what he gave you to do, not the marriage he gave you. It's a different thing when you now get to heaven and God is like, I gave you 2 talents. What did you do with it? And you're like, God, the husband you gave me. That one is story. He wants to know, what did you do with the 2 talents I gave you? What did you do with the 10 talents I gave you? So purpose comes first. Have I answered all your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Over to you.
It seems time is no longer on our side. Purpose comes first. Purpose comes first. Just to say, purpose is bigger than our job. Purpose drives what you do. Purpose drives what you do. That job you are going to, or that job you are doing, that 9 to 5 you are doing, that business you are doing. Purpose should be what drives it. Purpose should be what drives everything around you, and marriage is not excluded. When you know your purpose, when you have purpose, then it further streamline the kind of person you are going to get married to. It will further streamline the kind of person you are going to be attached to. Just to say, please, age does not define or does not mean that you are maritally ready. Age, okay? And one thing to notice this, your marital status does not define you as a person. Never. Your marital status does not define you as a person. Before your marital status, you have a purpose, you have a goal, you have something you want to achieve. Keep going that line. Keep doing it. Whatever is going to come along is going to come along, or to the aim or to the end of purpose, or to the end of achieving that particular goal. Okay?
Yeah.
Marital status does not define you.
Thank you. Faith, do you have an addition? Otherwise, Dr. Osunde can just say one of the things.
I think we all know that. We all know that it's purpose, and everyone should be found in its place of purpose. I know the most challenging parts for many of our young ladies, guys, is even knowing the purpose, knowing your purpose. So if you find yourself doing what you should do, that's fulfilling purpose, then love will find you there, just like the last speaker said. Which when it comes, you will know. It's not difficult. And you will know and understand. And one thing every one of us should know is that, or rather the young ones, is like, don't give purpose out for any relationship. Don't, how would I put it? Don't sacrifice your purpose, just like Ephesus said, because of marriage. No, because purpose is what will also sustain your marriage. So purpose comes first before marriage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does Dr. Oloruntobi have anything to say? In 1 minute.
Yes, thank you so much. I support what everybody said so far. I believe purpose comes first. And I actually think that marriage is a component of that purpose, especially if you are married. So your purpose is your divine assignment, that which God has put in your hand to do, to advance the kingdom. That is your purpose. So, and marriage is only going to make it better. So the couples will align if it's actually a godly union. So the moment the purpose of A is contradicting the purpose of B, then something is wrong. It should complement each other. So if the man is tilling the ground, is planting, is sowing plants, then the wife can water. That will help the fruit to germinate and grow. So they should work together and not differently. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. So in essence, I would say, in seeking the face of God for a marriage or for a marital partner, for marriage, the driving force should be you first understanding your purpose before going ahead. May God help us in Jesus' name. So let's just take like 2 questions. Someone said, how can someone know his or her purpose in life? From the top of my head, I would say you should join us this month as we journey on this. This is what we are doing this month. We are on a journey to discover purpose. And if you have been following us on social media, you will understand it better while we start and go ahead. Yeah, and guest speaker will also talk about it. And I think Dr. Oloruntobi has talked on what advice will you give to women under 30 years of age and 30 years and above about, okay, still I would say purpose is it. But let me just ask this question. How about those who do random dating? Those that are into random dating, how can we handle this situation? And because people now believe, okay, I'm above 30, I'm almost so. How do I now go about it? Random dating, this and that. How do we handle that? Dr. Oloruntobi.
Thank you so much. I will not support random dating. Random dating, to me, just like gambling.
Okay.
So, and it's risky. So it's good to date with be intentional in your dating. If you're not ready for marriage, why are you dating? So you're ready for marriage, you date for a purpose. You don't just date what people are saying. It will lead to disaster, actually, most times. So I think you should be discouraged.
I think Bruce wants to say something too.
Okay, just a quick one. Even that question alone, it goes against all we have been saying since. For someone to just to random date, first of all, it means the person places marriage before purpose. First of all, because the person is trying to throw so many dice. Anyone that brings double six, it will just jump into it. So it simply means the person does not value his or herself. The person does not know his or her purpose, and the person is ready to take anything from anybody. So if the person does not know his or her standard, okay, so it totally goes against all that we have been saying here since.
Thank you very much, the panelists. It's been wonderful talking with you, and we look forward to doing this the more. Thank you, everyone, too, for